Next question. An American is a citizen not only of United States but also a citizen of a state concerned, and he or she enjoys the rights and privileges guaranteed by the both governments. In USA, there exists a division of public officials, that is, state laws are implemented by state officials and the federal laws are implemented by federal officials. 3. In India, both the central and state officials implement both central and state laws. Find out the correct answer. So regarding statement number 1, that's a correct statement only. Why? Because in case of American form of federalism, they are provided with dual citizenship. An American is provided with a dual citizenship. He is a citizen of not only the federal government but also of the state. Okay, he owes allegiance to both the federal as well as both the state governments. He enjoys dual set of rights. A state may provide certain set of special rights to its residents, not only she can enjoy that. But in case of India, irrespective of any state, all enjoy a single set of rights provided by the constitution or the parliament. In case of USA, they enjoy dual set of rights. So statement number 1 is a correct statement. 2. In USA, there exists a division of public office. That's also a correct statement. Why? In case of USA, see, they are moreover a rigid federalism. The states are also more powerful. Clear? In USA, the states are more powerful. So in case of them, the central laws or the federal laws are implemented by federal officials. For that, separate officials are there. And to implement state laws, there are separate set of state public officials. But in case of ours, a single set of officials implement both central as well as state laws. See, assume it is a central officer. He or she implements both central laws as well as state laws. Assume it is a state official. He or she also implement what? Both central laws as well as state laws are implemented by all the officials in our country. That is, we have only a single set of what? Officials. But in case of USA, the federal laws are implemented by federal officials and state laws are implemented by state officials. 2 is a correct statement. 3 is also a correct statement. Answer becomes option D, that is 1, 2 and 3. Clear? With reference to the election of the President of India, consider the following statements. The value of votes of all elected members of legislative assemblies are same, but the value of votes of elected members of legislative council varies from state to state. All the members of parliament who took part in the election has equal value of votes. Find out the correct statement. So regarding the election of the President of India, who took part in the election of the President of India? It is elected MPs of both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha as well as elected MLAs of both state as well as UTs having legislature. Only elected MLAs and elected MPs took part in the election. Nominated MPs as well as members of legislative council do not took part in the election of the President of India. But see the second part of the first statement, and the value of votes of elected members of legislative council varies from state to state. They even does not took part in the election of the President of India. Now what is the value of vote of the President of India? First of all, MLAs and MPs are assigned a value of votes. And we arrived at a formula that the value of vote of MLA is population of the state by number of elected MLAs this is the equation. Value of vote of MLA is equal to total population of state by number of elected MLAs into 1 by 1000. So a value of vote of MLA varies from state to state. A value of vote of MLA of Karnataka may not be equal to a value of vote of MLA of Maharashtra, may not be equal to a value of vote of MLA of Assam, may not be equal to a value of vote of MLA of Punjab or Haryana. Why? Because it depends upon the total population of a state. It depends upon the number of elected MLAs. So the numbers varies. So but within a state, say example, within Andhra Pradesh, all Andhra Pradesh elected MLAs has same value of votes. Okay, all Madhya Pradesh elected MLAs has same value of votes. But within, when the state varies, the values of MLAs of different states may vary. Why? Because it depends upon the population of the state as well as number of elected MLAs. Clear? And how we arrive at the value of MPs? Value of vote of MP is equal to total value of vote of all MLAs. Okay, say example, a state has 100 MLAs and that MLA's value may be 400 plus another state may have 150 MLAs, their value may be 500 plus another state may have 40 MLAs, their value may be 60 plus likewise for every state and every MLA's values is added then divided by the total number of elected MPs of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. This is the value of vote of an MP. So all the MPs who took part in the election has same value of votes. But the value of votes of MLA varies from state to state. That you keep in mind. So here it says that the value of votes of all elected MLAs are same. No, why it varies from state to state. And members of Legislative Council do not took part in the election. So one is a wrong statement. All the members of the parliament who took part in the election, there's a statement there. It is not all the members of parliament have same value of votes. No. All the members of parliament who took part in the election have same value vote. That is a correct statement. So answer becomes option B, that is 2 only. Clear? In the Constitution of India, providing early childhood care and education for all children until they complete the age of 6 years is included in the fundamental rights, DPSP, fundamental duties and or none of the above. See, when you go to the POLITY, please be thorough with the provisions of fundamental rights, preamble, DPSP and fundamental duties by, because those provisions can be interchanged and asked in the UPSC examination which you can get confused. There is high chances that you may confuse with the provisions of DPSP, preamble, fundamental rights, so fundamental duties as well as fundamental rights. These things you may get confused. So please be clear in that. So which among the part of the Constitution talks about the early childhood care and education for children until they come to 6 years of age is DPSP. See, fundamental rights talks about the compulsory education for children between 6 to 14 years of age. And what does fundamental duty says that? The duties of parents to provide education opportunities for children between 6 to 14 years of age. That's a duty. Compulsory education is fundamental right. And childhood care for children below 6 years of age comes under which one? The DPSP. That is Article 45 of the Constitution talks about that. Answer is option B, that is DPSP. Okay. Consider the following statements. The introduction of money bill in the Rajya Sabha requires prior recommendation of the President of India. The Rajya Sabha can only make recommendations regarding money bill and must return the bill to the Lok Sabha within 1 month. The President of India cannot withhold his or her assent to the money bill because it is introduced with his or her prior permission. Find out the not correct one. So what was statement number 1? See, money bill can be introduced only in the Lok Sabha with prior recommendation. It says that introduction of money bill in the Rajya Sabha requires prior recommendation. Prior recommendation is necessary, but it cannot be introduced in the Rajya Sabha but only in the Lok Sabha. So 1 is a wrong statement. The Rajya Sabha can only make a recommendation regarding money bill. That's a correct statement. Rajya Sabha has no powers to amend or it has no powers to reject a money bill. It can only make recommendations and must return the bill to the Lok Sabha within 1 month. It is not 1 month, it is 14 days. So within 14 days, the Rajya Sabha has returned the money bill to the Lok Sabha back. Clear? That's all about the powers regarding Rajya Sabha. So 2 is also a wrong statement. The President of India cannot withhold his or her assent to the money bill because it is introduced with his or her prior permission. No. Even though it is introduced with his or her prior permission, at the end, when the money bill is duly passed by the both houses of the parliament, is sent to the President of India. The President of India can give assent. Bill becomes an act. It can even reject the bill. Only condition is that President cannot return a money bill. Money bill cannot be returned by the President of India, but can be given assent or can be rejected, not an issue. Here it says that the President of India cannot withhold his assent. This simply means it cannot reject the bill. Money bill it is said here. But President of India can reject a money bill, not an issue. So here all the three statements are wrong. So answer becomes, since we have to find out the not correct one, answer becomes option D, that is 1, 2 and 3. Okay. Next question. In a particular type of constitution, there exists a strong national government. It may even have local or regional government, and the powers and functions of that local or regional government are derived from the strong national government. The national government even has the powers to revoke the powers delegated to the local regional government. It may not be necessarily codified into a single legal document. The above description refers to unitary constitution, federal constitution, rigid constitution, democratic constitution. The answer is option A, that is unitary constitution. So what is mean by that? That means that constitution, they may have a strong central authority. Okay, a strong national government with there. And even if they have a regional government, the powers of regional government is given by whom? The strong central government only. They can even revoke the powers back, not an issue. But in case of a federal constitution, the powers of central as well as regional government is demarcated by whom? The constitution directly. That is what meant by the federal constitution. The powers of states or the regional governments are derived from the constitution directly and not from the central government in case of a federal constitution. But in case of unitary constitution, even if there exists a regional government, the powers are given by whom? The central authority only. Now why not see? A rigid constitution means it is regarding the toughness to amend the constitution. That is, the procedure to amend the constitution is rigid. That is what mean by rigid constitution. And what is mean by democratic constitution? Nothing but the government or the political system is carried on through the representatives elected by the people. And such a constitution can also be called as a democratic constitution. So the above description refers to what? Option A, that is unitary constitution. Clear? Which among the following features or provisions best represents the unitary features of Indian constitution? Integrated and independent judiciary, all India services, Article 3 of the Constitution, Election Commission of India. Select the correct answer. So which among these following represents the unitary features? So unitary features means the parliament or the central government has more powers. They have the more authority. That is what I mean by unitary features, showing a centralizing tendency. So regarding integrated and independent judiciary, see, this is a unitary feature, but this is a federal feature only. Why? Because under our constitution, we have written constitution, and the powers of center as well as states are being clearly demarcated in the provisions of the constitution. And if there exists an independent judiciary, then only the rights of states can be protected. For that, the judiciary must be independent. Or to protect the constitutionalism, that is, only if the independence judiciary is maintained independency, then only they can check whether the central government or the state government is violating the constitution, whether they are following the provisions of constitution. For the judiciary must be independent, and it is a federal feature under our constitution. But integrated judiciary, that is a single system of court system to enforce both central as well as state laws. Supreme Court at the top, below that High Court, below that subordinate courts. See who appoints the judges of Supreme Court, High Court. It is the President of India. Regarding their appointment or removal, state has no role. But they enforces both what? Central as well as state laws. They look into the legality of both central as well as state laws, but regarding appointment or removal, state has no role, showing a unitary feature. But independence of judiciary is not a unitary feature, it is a federal feature, so one should not be there in your answer. Clear? So since one should be there in your answer, you can eliminate option C as well as D. Your answer should be either A or B, which says that 2 and 3 is a correct statement. Because in both A and B, 2 and 3 are there. That is all the services, Correct. It's a centralized tendency. Why? Because who train IAS, IPS officers? Center. Who conduct exam to them? Center. But they work in states. They can only be removed by the President of India. Clear? So they are trained and appointed by the center, but they work on where? States, showing a centralized tendency. What's Article 3 of the Constitution? Altering boundaries of states. Boundaries of states. See, Andhra Pradesh was bifurcated into Andhra Pradesh and Telangana under Article 3 of the Constitution. A state's boundaries are being altered. Jammu and Kashmir was a state. It was bifurcated into 2 union territories. By whom? By the unilateral action of the parliament. Their states has no role. But in case of USA, the state's boundaries has to be altered. Then the consent of respective state must be obtained in case of USA. But in case of India, the parliament has ultimate authority over the alteration of boundaries, showing a centralizing feature. Part of the Election Commission of India, appointed by the whom? President of India. Conditions are fixed by the President of India. How they are being removed? Again by the President of India. But they conduct elections to both Parliament as well as state legislature. They conduct election to state legislature, but state has no role regarding the powers and functions of Election Commission of India. Again, a unitary tendency. So answer should be 2, 3 and 4. That is, option B should be our answer. Clear?